Awesome. All right. Well, here we go. So I've already finished the first version. There's the first version, or the first video, part one, I should say, is I did all the recording side, and then part two is doing editing. And this is part three. We're going to be doing the mixing and the mastering. I might add a few more sounds. I haven't heard it, and I haven't heard it for over, I think yesterday morning, I think I finished my editing. So I haven't heard it since then. So fresh ears. And but I'll just walk you through really quickly what I have here, just in case you haven't caught up yet. Okay, so let me make sure we are on stereo. There it is, stereo, high fidelity. Yep, there we go. All right, so we're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so I'm going to put my headphones on. Turn off my speakers. All right, so here we go. So what we got here is, somebody give me the thumbs up if you can hear this. All right, cool. All right, so we're working, everything's working. So I have some light, this is called Romantic Moments. It's just an instrumental cue. It's about, looking up here at the timeline, 120, maybe 134, maybe, I don't know, whatever this is up here by the time it rings out. I think it says down here. Might have the seconds here. So there we go, 138 when it probably rings out. Make sure I'll keep that on seconds. So we have some light percussion. I'll solo it through. And we're using EZdrummer for that. It's just one of my go-tos. It's very simple. Has a little mixing thing there. I can pan it to which side I want. And it doesn't matter what drum kit you have it, but it's very easy, very simple. Sounds great. It's just a little shaker. Then we have some acoustic guitars. Now we have a bass come in just for the second half of the song. And then that just kind of walks through, and then we got a piano melody that comes in here. And then we just have one more extra piano. It's a different kind of piano sound. I'll show you what sounds they got. This is one of my go-tos. I've been using this for a long time. Everybody knows. Everybody who's watched any videos sees this pop. This makes it, emotional piano makes it into nearly all my piano tracks. I really like it. It's just the sound that I like. It's pleasing to me, and that's what I like. So that one's the main lead. And then I have another piano doing this arpeggiated thing during the B section. So it's like an una, I think it's called a una corda. It's just a really different kind of sounding piano. It's a very kind of soft, the setting is on felt, I think it is, and it's just, I'll play that by itself for a second. Oops. So just by itself. It's a nice little softer piano, and it's just a variation on the other piano. So two different piano sounds. Now we have a pad sound here. It's And this one's by UJam. I haven't played with it too much, but it does have some really nice sounds. I really like it. And then I put a delay on that pad to even wash it out even more. And I could have gone inside here and used more of the effects here. I think there's a delay, and you can change a lot of these. But I think I pretty much left the preset, and I just manually put in my own reverb, my own delay, which was a H delay. I like this, quickly, easy to dial in, and then I put a shimmer on it, and I backed off the mix a little bit, so it's very light on that shimmer sound. But I just wanted that little extra sound. So that's playing for a while, and then the second one, I think I just copied and pasted it down, and I forget what I put in this one. There's another kind of pad, I think. Oh, it's the strings thing. That's right. So this is this is by UJam as well. I like their stuff, a lot of their stuff, but I hadn't played with this string strings STRIIIINGS. So I hadn't played with their string thing before, and it's pretty different, but I like some of the sounds, but overall the sounds were a little bit too harsh for this track. That's why the volume is going to be down quite a bit. Like we're down at -33. That's a lot. It's pretty low down. Let's see if we can hear it coming in. So let's go ahead and play it from the top, and I'll let you guys hear the whole thing. There you go. Very simple, very but the emotion of it is totally there. It's very kind of a soft, kind of romantic moment. You know, I don't know, I'm getting the kind of vibes from this that's kind of like, I don't know, the classic romantic story where the guy goes off to war or something, and he's coming back, and you know, it's or maybe the moment before they leave or something like that. And but just it's definitely has that little special little soft kind of romantic kind of thing there. So there's a few little things I'm hearing in this, so I'm just going to dive in here. There's a couple of editing things. One of these chords was a little late. I did hear that a little early. Look at that, I can see it right there. This one should be on the grid. Sometimes with my pianos, well, actually a lot of times with my pianos, I put my pianos to the grid, pretty tight to the grid a lot of the time. Except for this last chord, you're going to see these are all to the grid, but then on the very last chord, I do let it stagger, or maybe one of my piano players here can tell me the correct terminology, but it's kind of like I forget what you call it, but you kind of like don't play it all at the same time, but you kind of stagger the chord. I don't know if there's an actual word for that, but it's kind of rung out, so you'll hear it here. It goes. So it kind of rings out a little bit. It's not exactly on the grid. I like to put my pianos to a grid because a lot of the time I have an acoustic guitar that's playing, and the acoustic guitar is not, it's never quantized as, it's never like, it's always moving. It's always there's so much movement in the acoustic guitar. If you just look at these chords on the acoustic guitar, the green is the acoustic guitar. They're kind of coming in a little earlier. This one's a tiny bit earlier, and the piano here is right on the grid. And that's okay. So I do piano right on the grid, and then the acoustic guitars, I'll let them be a little bit more free and a little bit more live playing. These chords. So yeah, retard. Yes, actually, yes. Yeah, could be called that. Thank you, Will. Awesome. So yeah, so I did hear that chord that was a little out. So let's go ahead, and the first stage of mixing for me, kind of like editing, kind of the producing side, as it kind of wraps up, because what I did then just to move that chord back wasn't strictly editing, but sometimes they kind of blur as you head into the mixing side of things. So the first thing we're going to do is do volumes. We're going to make sure we get all our volumes right. And so let's have a listen. There's one little extra thing here when I come to this last chord. This is editing again. I don't like this arpeggiated thing to continue all the way through. I think I just want to make it stop on that last chord. You're going to hear it keep going. I want to mute out these notes, so let it just ring on that last one. And I'm going to stop the shaker there as well. Maybe it's here. Let's have a look. Maybe over here. Maybe it's too much. Oh, and then I'm going to do one more thing with the shaker. I'm actually going to do a volume. So I'm going to volume. I'm going to automate the volume. So as it goes in, it's going to start off pretty low. Then we're going to bring it up. Noticing those low ones are actually a little louder, or I kind of go into an octave thing. where the low piano is doing exactly the same as what a higher piano is doing, but you can kind of see that these are actually the same volume, and so I don't want those low ones as loud. I'm just going to pull them down a bit. Cool. One thing we're also going to do is the shaker is actually a little bit percussive. It sticks out a little bit. It's a little too clear. So one thing what we can do to wash that out a little bit is just put a bit of reverb on that. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm just going to send a little bit of the shaker to the reverb. Let's just see that. So that's just another way to make it a little bit warmer on that shaker. So what I did there was I added a little bit of EQ, actually subtracted. I took away, looks like 5, I think, minus 5 dB of around 10K. I think this is 10. No, 14, 15K. So, so it might be too much, but it might, let's see. And because I've already automated that shaker, now I can't touch the volume here because it's already automated. And so that's another great reason when it's sent to a bus, I can just turn down the main bus, and I haven't changed that a little bit. So I'm just going to turn that down just a little bit. Now there's nothing down here down low, so I don't really have to put a high pass filter on it, but I'm going to anyway, just because I don't know if maybe there's something that triggered that I missed, and it's just a good habit to have it because the shaker doesn't need any low rumble at all. So another thing I've done here is on the bass, sending the bass here to this bass channel here, and I've done the opposite of what I just did with the shaker. I've taken out all the high stuff, so it's a low pass filter letting all the low pass through, and so I don't need any attack, I don't need any clarity of those low notes. I just want them to support what the acoustic guitar is doing. So I don't need any clarity of that bass note. I just need it to come in, just this low thing, to feel this low thing when it comes in. In these tracks, Jackie asks, in these tracks, would you ever put any other kind of light percussion or stick with a simple shaker, or possibly use some quiet cymbal swells? You could do some quiet cymbal swells at the end. I'm opting not to for this one because just keeping it super soft, because the thing about cymbals, if it's a cymbal just by itself, when it hits, then there's that ting, there's kind of going to be a sound that kind of sticks out, And usually a symbol is to accent things. If it's like a da 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 da, you know, it could be like dun dun dun, you know. So usually they're kind of like to accent or to emphasize a certain beat or something. So in this one, I'm not going to do any reverse symbols. I'm just going to keep it really soft and just really no surprises, just really mellow, just really light, just very yeah. So I'm not going to do that, and I'd probably say for this album I wouldn't add any of those any reverse symbols, just because there's no crescendo. It's just a mellow. You just want to keep it as smooth and smooth as you can for this for these kind of romantic moments. No surprises, no big changes or anything big like that. All right, so I don't have any electric guitars in this one, so I can get rid of that. I don't have any. I'm not going to squash the drums like that. Don't have any backing vocals, obviously. The lead here, strings, piano, acoustic guitar, bass, drums, good. I don't know if I'll put any delay, but it's ready to go if I need it. All right, so let's go back to, with this arpeggiated piano, there is a little bit of attack in that and a little bit of noise that I think I'd like to get that out. Back to that. Might actually be inside of the sound. All right, let's just repeat this. I'm just going to add some delay to maybe give that even less of a clear piano, maybe more of just a texture of a sound or something. So let's just see how that delay works. Might be too much, but let's leave it at that for a second to see how that feels. Let's have a listen to these pads. So there's a lot of energy built up on this pad, right down and low. You don't even going to hear that. Around 10 to 20 hertz. There's a lot of energy down there. I don't need that. It's just going to be maybe triggering compressors. It's just going to get in the way. I'm not even going to hear it. I don't need it. The pad doesn't need to be down that low. I do have bass that comes in to kind of fill out that frequency, so I don't need any of that. I don't want it. I don't need it, or I don't want it. So I just double check this pad as well. It's probably got some low end as well. All right, so let's do a little bit of compression on these acoustic guitars so they don't stick out too much. Yeah, it could be the felt intensity. Maybe I'll have to have a look at that again. Yeah, let me check that. Where is it? Over here. When you go underneath the hood here with these sounds in Kontakt, I don't go under the hood much, so it's like opening up the engine and being like, okay, what are things doing here? So you can do a lot under the hood, but a lot of time, if a preset works, I'll keep looking on the presets and let somebody else spend the time to tweak it. But let's see if we can find anything here like an attack or a felt intensity. I don't know if there is. I have to keep searching, but I'm like, we'll see how the track shapes up, and if it really bugs us, then I can come back to it. Yeah, there's a lot you can do underneath there. Oops. Save changes, cancel. Right, keep going back here. Let's go to these acoustic guitars. Now I could put these two acoustic guitars. I've got them left and right. Now I could put them down on one stereo track, and then I wouldn't have to copy and paste like what I'm just doing here. I'm copying the it's just been a bit of a habit that I've just always just had the left and right. I just have more control if I want to just pan this one a little bit. I don't know, it's just been a way I've been working for a long time. Maybe not the smartest, or maybe there's a quicker way, but to put them down onto a stereo file. But it's already set up like this, so I'm just like, I can't be bothered. But you could put this down on a stereo track, and then sometimes it's easier to work with the compressor. The compressor is working on both of the sides, but actually, a lot of the time I do prefer it working independently on each one, because this right channel is a little, see this one here, which is going out the left, that's a little bit bigger wave, so that's going to actually hit the compressor a little bit different, and then this one will still hit, but it just, if I put them on a stereo track and put one compressor, then this one's the one that's going to trigger it and it's going to affect, and then this one won't be doing anything. So sometimes it's nice to have it doing separate things. It just all depends on your workflow and how you prefer to do it. And I've been doing it like this for a while, but I could drag these down into a stereo file if I wanted to, but I prefer them in mono. It's just the way I've been working for a while, and I like that. Thanks, Will. Yeah, it's I tell you what, for everyone knows this, but I'll explain it. I'll say it as well, that if you start off with a great instrument, this is this acoustic, in the chat, Will just said great acoustic guitar sound. This here is a it's a nice guitar. It's a there's a custom Taylor. I think it's about $3.5 grand when I paid for it. So you really do instruments are so precious, when you do get what you pay for, and if you can save up to get something that's really nice, you don't have to do much and it sounds so good. And it's like, I'm doing the same that I would do on a cheaper guitar, and it's same with piano, same with all your sounds. But yeah, it's a nice guitar sound for sure. I've used that guitar for quite a while. Yeah, it's a nice one. It's been played in, and it's nice. And then I'm running that through, just so everyone knows, I'm running it through. I got a mic around Christmas time. I've been using this for a while now. It's a 414 C414. It has a lot of different patterns you can have on it, but it's not as expensive as my other mic. It just has a different flavor, a different sound. And then I'm running that into an API 512V, which is the 500 series. And then from the API, it's run into a 1LA, which is a 500 series by KGS, and that's the same as the LA2A, but it's a 1LA. So, and then that's just run into my converter, which is the Lynx Hilo. But yeah, so there's some expensive items along that thing, but yeah, they do add up, and it's really nice. But yeah, thanks for saying that, Will. It's cool. And so with that acoustic guitar, I'm hearing it's jumping out a little bit, and I can see the note there. I played that one a little heavier with one of my fingers than the other one. So I'm actually going to drive this compressor just a little bit harder on this channel here. See if we can just level that out just a little bit. with a track like this, there's not that much percussive elements to grab that the compressor needs to come down. But I'm just going to make sure that they're actually working, that they're actually hitting a little bit of it. I'm not going to change much of my attack or anything, but I just want to kind of just tame it a little bit as we head towards the final mix and the master. So yeah, we're really kind of getting there now with the sounds. It's very simple to kind of mix something that's, it doesn't have that many elements, not really loud, it's not really percussive, there's not a lot of stuff that are kind of competing with each other. And one of the things that a saying that you might have heard is that the mix starts with the arrangement. So I made sure that at the very beginning, we're complementing with sounds. I don't have the bass doing lots of dun, 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 dun. It's just an open sound that's kind of just holding that low frequency. And then the pads are just something really washy and ambient, and which I'm actually going to be turning down the pads a little bit more and just having them in there, but it's not such a big element. And so then coming over here to the mix bus, I have this CLA mix down, which is a great plugin. You just turn it up, and I try to have no more than -3 dB of gain reduction. So I'm just watching that, and then I felt like I just need a little bit more treble, so I just turned up the treble a little bit, and I might have hit the glue just a tiny bit. This is a great little kind of gluing plugin for the overall mix. I like this a lot. So it just adds, I've got a little bit more, there's a bit of volume coming out of this, so it's, what have we got coming out? Oops. A lot of these little plugins that I use, they add maybe a point, not even a 1%. Sometimes they're only a point of maybe even 1% or half a percent difference. And see if you can kind of hear that difference when I click this PSP. This is just a preset, an expensive mix. I like the idea of that. So, you know, just popped it in there, and let's just have a listen with it and without it. I'll go back here. Great. And my mastering chain has been the same for a while now. I just have the Pugchild 670 as the first compressor. I don't do much. You're going to see this meters, they're not going to be doing much. Then I have my Bax EQ, and I have a preset, Steve Start. I have the same preset I've been using for a while now. And I think I add about 1 dB of gain. So the output here is, what do we got? Half, and then maybe 1, or maybe it's 1.5. I have a shelf at about 7.1. It cuts at 70 hertz, 70. So I should say 70,000 hertz, 70K, and then it cuts at 12 hertz. And then I have I think this is whatever that number is, or half of 0.5 of that shelf there. It's a great EQ. I'll play it with it and without it. So looking at this song here, you don't want to, it's a soft song, so you don't need it in your face. You don't need it at like the loudness wars, you know, you don't need it at like so loud where it's just, it would be too distorted. It'd be too abrasive, too in your face to have this one super loud. So what I'm actually doing is I'm turning up this volume here with the threshold, or I should say turning down the threshold, so that I'm getting a little bit of the gain reduction, which actually in turn turns it up. And I'm looking at my meters over here, and I'm keeping it around that 90%. I don't need to be 99. I don't need to be at 100. Just it needs to have a bit more breathing in it. So I'm going to be playing with that a little bit as I listen to this. Let's go back to the beginning. And before we do that, I don't know if you guys are hearing, but there's a bit of a hiss, which I believe is one of these there's this analog delay. So because it's analog, that dropped it down a little bit. Let's go to the next one. Yep, let's get rid of that hiss. The analog hiss that I'm adding. Maybe I'll have 1. Yeah, it's good. no less hiss, that's for sure. Okay, so I want to make sure I automate these pads to go down at the end and fade off. Don't need them going that long. Let's just bring them down. Obviously, we're not going to cut them out abruptly like that. Just do a fade. Right, now that piano needs to fix up that I think it's the sustain pedal coming off right here. Yeah, they can come off way over here. Now, what I like to do with my pianos a lot of the time is, instead of having that organic sound where you can actually hear the pedal come off, I just let it fade. So I just do an automation on that. Yeah, it's great. And I did hear a noise here with one of these guitars or something. I heard it in the right speaker, so probably this one here is a noise. So I'm just going to zoom right in, see what that noise is, and get rid of that. Yeah, somewhere there. Yeah, that'll be nice. Might as well do the last fader as well, the main fader. All right, so that's there. Go back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm just going to put this marker just before, that looks like it's maybe an 1/8 or a 16th, just before the actual beat starts. That's what I like to do, and I keep it on the grid so I know that if I have to bounce out anything else, it should line up. Just one little tweak in it, you know, that's what I usually do. All right, so let's have another listen now. I feel like still I think the lead piano is actually hitting the compressor a little too hard. I think I'm going to need to pull it back a little bit or turn it down. Let's have a listen. I don't know if I like that delay anymore. I took the time to put the delay on, but I don't think I wanted it a little bit more wash, but now I'm missing it. I like it without it actually. It's too artificial. It's too affected. So I like it without it actually. I'm going to keep it with that. And then I do want to add just a little bit of delay to the lead melody here, which is this one. Yep, that's great. I think we're ready to bounce it down. I'm going to do one last little bit of automation on this shaker. I don't want it to stop abruptly. I want it to kind of fade out, gradually fade out where you don't even notice it was kind of fading. So let's see if this works. happy with that. So now we gotta save it and bounce it down and give it a title. Maybe Tender Moments or something like that, maybe. Maybe I'll go with the idea that I said originally, where it's like maybe Forever in My Heart or something. That sounds nice. Forever in My Heart. Forever in My Heart. That's mix one. Yep, there we go. There we go. So I did a mix. I did a MP3 mix because what actually happens when you're actually converting down, or you're actually compressing down to an MP3, and that's what a lot of people listen to. So I actually go back and listen to the MP3 tomorrow, or when I have fresh ears, and be like, okay, I need to tweak this. And as I do the mix 2 and the mix 3, and any other mixes I need, but usually around 2 or 3 mixes, I'm pretty happy with where it needs to be. But with those fresh ears, I listen to the compressed version because that's what pretty much goes out there. And so that's the one I listen to for final. Oh, the snare's too loud, or in this case, the bass might be too loud, or the piano melody might be too loud. And then I also don't actually mix on my headphones. Most of the time I'm mixing on my speakers, so I definitely need to go back with speakers. But because of the Zoom thing, I got to mix on these. But so a lot of times I'll come back and tweak those little things. Most of the time it's resting your ears is so good, just for the fact of you kind of forget all the intricate parts that you were trying to make decisions on, and you come back and listen to it as a whole, and you listen to it as like, hey, that's fine for what it is. It's not wrong. Maybe it's like sometimes there is something wrong, like something's too loud, or and that's a good time with freshies. But a lot of the time it might be just, what, that's what came out, that's what it is. I could go back to that try and find that felt thing, or even change the sounds to the exact thing. But sometimes a lot of the time I'm just like, hey, that's what it is. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not wrong in my ears. It's not wrong. It's just a flavor that came out, and I'm quite happy to let that go. And then we work on the next one. We know what come the next one, and you just keep it flowing. And because you guys know it's a quality and quantity. So it's but yeah, pretty easy. How do you reckon, you guys? Who wants to jump in and do one? Who thinks they can do it? Will, this is right up your wheelhouse too. You got tons of these. And actually, if you do have strings, which I know, Will, you have phenomenal strings, put them in there. Don't worry about pads. Go for your string stuff if you want. I've heard your string stuff, and it sounds amazing. So go for that. And I think I went for pads because I was actually going to do ambient guitars to have that pad kind of sound, but I'm like, I didn't want to plug it in. I'm so lazy. It's like, could be back here, but I didn't want to plug it in. I just want to use more of the sounds in the box that you guys would have access to as well. But yeah. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, unless there's any questions or any last minute questions or thoughts or anything, I can definitely let you go. It's Easter Sunday, so go hang out with the family, and and if you're in my VIP group in the masterclass, then yeah, all systems go. Crank out a few of these if you're up for it, and they're due in about a month's time, and yeah. I will see you guys in the chat. All right, see you guys.